to Schulte Sweetie's YouTube channel. I'm a mom of 3 girls, ages 10, 7, and 4, and we've been homeschooling for about 5 years now, going on our 6th year this summer. Today I wanted to do a little bit of a review of a curriculum that I was given for my honest review called Beowulf Grammar. Beowulf Grammar is created by Guest Hollow, and it is a portion of the language arts curriculum that they have created. Now, we already had some other aspects of language arts already covered through Write Shop and some other curriculum. So I was really basically looking for grammar, and I had heard this about Beowulf Grammar a little bit on Facebook, but didn't really see very many reviews. And so Guest Hollow was kind enough to give this to me to look through, and I've been able to use it for a couple months now, and now I can give you my honest review. I am going to flip the camera around and do a little, show you a little bit of what is in Beowulf Grammar, and then also how I use this, and some of the things that I've printed and haven't printed, and hopefully that will give you a better idea about Beowulf Grammar from Guest Hollow. Thanks. The first thing I wanted to show you was the Guest Hollow website here. This is, it's a husband and wife that create this curriculum, and so you can just go to this, and when you order things, this is your little dashboard here. They have different curriculum. They have language arts. Like I said, Beowulf Grammar is a part of their language arts. They have geography, history, and science. And then they have curriculum for elementary, middle school, and high school age kids. There's a lot of freebies, including some different textbooks. And then, so once I go to my downloads, I can find my Beowulf in here, the Beowulf Grammar. They have it where you can print the whole year. Technically, it's divided into quarters, but you could make it stretch as long as you want. So you could print the whole file for the student book with this, or they've also divided it into different quarters that you can print it quarterly, and you don't have to print the whole thing or even stop it on your own. You can just print that file. They have also created it that you will have a blank page on the back of the cutting and pasting pages, so you can print double-sided as well. What I do with the teacher's manual, you could print it out, but you will have a huge binder, and a lot of it does have the student pages in there. So I thought it'd be silly for me to print it all out right now. So I have put it onto my iPad in my Good Notes app here, and I'm able to just swipe to where I need to go. So the beginning of the teacher's manual has an introduction, a letter about how to use it, and different things. And then here is the schedule. So they have it divided into 4 or 5 days. Really, the 5th day doesn't have very much on there. We don't do it this way. We have just been doing it about 2 days a week and do a few pages at a time. So I'll swipe through here. This is what you will see on most pages. You're going to see these are the student pages, so you can you get a glimpse of that in your teacher's manual, and then it gives you a little bit more instruction about what is going on. There are some extra pages in the teacher's manual that you might want to print out for your student. This is one that is not in the student workbook, and here are a few more pages, so you usually can tell which ones aren't in the student workbook. It gives you some examples. And then now you have, these are the student pages because they're smaller, and then it gives you a little information. This was one of the little beginning activities that we did, and it's supposed to be Beowulf, and you can put him in his box or out of his box. But then also they say you can use this as a little special treat where you can put little candies and things in, and kind of make grammar a little bit more special. We haven't used it that way, but I think it's a great concept that you can kind of set it up to do it that way. So now I'm going to show you a little bit about what I have printed off for the first and second quarter of Beowulf's Grammar. We have gotten close to finishing the first quarter. So I'm going to just show you some of the activities she's done, and then I'll walk you through a little bit of the second quarter. First thing is the table of contents, and I'll read off some of the main things that they go through. Nouns, pronouns, adjectives. Next one's going to be verbs, adverbs, parts of a sentence, introduction to diagramming, prepositions, interjections, conjunctions. We've got direct and indirect objects, prepositional phrases, predicate adjectives, and punctuating speech, run-on sentences, and infinitives. And then the page number down here says 344. So that is how long the student notebook would be if you printed it out all at one point, all at one time. So now I'll go through a few of the activities. So here's one toward the beginning. They have it's kind of a poster that they can use throughout the time. And it shows just pictures of the 8 parts of speech. It shows Beowulf. He's throughout the whole curriculum. Here's one of the activities, and so many activities throughout the curriculum, and it's so nothing will ever be boring to them because they're always going to be surprised of what they will have next. So this one was a coloring of the plural nouns that were correct, and they left the ones that were not correct blank, so they were able to color a song. Here's a crossword puzzle for abstract nouns. This is one where we were supposed to cut and paste, but we didn't cut and paste this one, so I just had her fill it in. Sometimes, especially with my oldest one, she doesn't really like doing crafts, so cutting and pasting isn't always in our best interest. So this is one we did as well. Well, we did do the cutting and pasting for this one. So they had to fill out a noun or nouns to represent those pronouns, and she had those underneath the pronouns. Here is an example of the review page. I had her do this orally. She told me what a noun is, and then she did some circling of the answers, and then she had to replace nouns with pronouns, and then she labeled some of the sentences. It wasn't really diagramming yet. It was just finding different things in the sentences. And this was taken from The Tale of Benjamin Bunny by Beatrix Potter. Another thing that they do a lot is introducing the curriculum or the topic with a comic. And so you'll see Beowulf throughout the comics and sometimes with his family. This one has zoo animals, it looks like. One of the activities, sometimes it might say draw something, and usually my daughter loves drawing, but for this one, we just ended up having her cut and paste from a magazine to describe the adjectives. One of her favorite activities so far has been, like I said, my daughter she's creative, but she doesn't like crafts. So she was supposed to make a menu and use as many adjectives to describe the words and things. So instead of using what they gave us, she created her own. She's really into these Wings of Fire books, so she drew this on her iPad and then created this all on her iPad. And she went through and did different adjectives for each of the drinks, and then on the side for the food, she came up with her own prices. So what I did was I went ahead and printed this for her so that we could, and laminate it so that she could have this to keep, and she was pretty proud of this. And then here's another one where it's just finding parts of speech, another thing taken from The Tale of Benjamin Bunny. So I think now I'm going to put it into the second quarter. As you can see, there's the number 2, so you're able to really tell which one it is, and it has a different color on the cover page. Some more comics. This is Beowulf's family here. This is where some of the first time I have seen diagramming in the second quarter. It's towards the end, and it doesn't look too complicated. It gives some examples, and then, well, this was from the page before. You're just filling out a few sentences. Diagramming, they say it is important, but it's not everything. So, going toward, they're not doing it every lesson either. There's other activities. This one is going to be, there's several pages of cubes that you create and make cubes to roll a sentence together. Just a few more flip through pages. This is prepositions. There's some drawing again, some comic, and there's a song that you can sing about prepositions to the tune of Yankee Doodle. Some more cutting and pasting, but everything is just so different in each page. So that is my flip through for the first 2 quarters, and then the teacher guidebook for Beowulf Grammar. And we have just really enjoyed our time with using Beowulf Grammar. We, both my daughter and I talked about it, and she has enjoyed it, so that is what we will continue using this next year. We're kind of going at our own pace. We're not using the exact schedule that they have given us in there, but I would definitely recommend checking out Beowulf Grammar. And if, like I said, it's also a part of their language arts curriculum, so you could include the language arts and Beowulf and include grammar and writing and spelling and all of the language arts all in one with their whole language arts program. If you have any questions, just let me know, but make sure you check out Guest Hollow. Thanks.